Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Grumpy Snail podcast with your host, me, the uncancelable Jonathan Snyder, here again for another fun-filled podcast of giving you information and getting wasted. So, let's get on, shall we? What did that video have to do with anything? Nothing. I just thought it was ridiculous. Isn't it ridiculous? Doesn't it sound ridiculous?
So say it with me. Se Puede.
It's ridiculous. Okay. So, last weekend we got the first video of the Potomac Highlander for the year, which is great. I know it's appeared to be old because it said 2019, but there's probably two different clips in that. I'm not sure. So that it was just mostly 2019. I know it took forever to get edited, but it's done, and there'll be lots more of those to come in the upcoming months and weeks. Also, we got the video coming up next weekend, which will be kind of podcasty, but it will be here. The Grumpy Snail set, and I'll be assembling a musical instrument. You should stay tuned next weekend to catch that video as well. I hope you all enjoy that video. Alright. So, again, we go over this almost every podcast. What is the point of this podcast? Podcast is to give you the news of what's going on in the studio and why we're doing the things that we do, and usually that's affected by what's going on in the news around us. So there's a lot of stuff that happened the past 2 weeks, and there's also a lot of stuff that's going to happen, and of course it's probably going to affect how the podcast moves on from now. It's possible that this format that we're in right now won't stay because, I mean, the whole point is to have some sort of filler in between the weeks so that I can get a video up every week. And it's hard to do the entertaining videos every weekend just because, full-time job takes precedent. We got to pay for this. This brings us to the first sponsor of the podcast and the channel, SOB Studios. Me. I'm the sponsor. I pay for all of it. So, awesome to me. So you should support me. Subscribe to this channel. Share these videos on all of your social media things, whether it be Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, or if you have your own YouTube channel, tell people that some moron is making videos in his basement and that they should watch them. Yeah. So you should do that. So we're going to talk about the things that may affect this channel, this program, these videos. Of course, we have the establishment that have a plan. They have a plan to achieve ultimate power. And I hate talking about these things because it makes me sound like a conspiracy theorist, and I don't think I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe in crazy nonsense conspiracies, but all signs point to the information that I give you, and so I mean we'll go through it. The point is that there is some people call it a cathedral. There's an establishment that wants to be in power, wants to have power, wants to take power, more power. So that's... And in order to get that power, There's a plan. There's a plan. They have a plan. They. Who is they? Hell if I know. But if you're not part of they that want that that are taking the plan, then you're a pawn to be moved around to achieve their goal or whatever. I don't know. So some of this sounds ridiculous, and some of it is, but some of it isn't. So we've been dealing with this for a year now. The pandemic situation. We're gonna call everything a situation. It's a health. There's a health situation going on, and we're starting to wind down. We're starting to come out of it. The numbers are going down. The businesses are opening. The states are like easing back on their restrictions, because it appears that the majority, the severity of the situation has gone down, and so there's no reason to stay closed. There's no reason to wreck the economy and wreck people's lives. But you know, when that happens, those people lose their control. So I mean, because people are getting their vaccines, which are great. The people that need their vaccines are getting their vaccines, which means people that haven't caught the health situation, people that haven't caught COVID are less likely to catch it, and are less likely to spread it. At least that's what all the numbers are coming out. So that's great. I mean, and it's so great that, you know, the CDC has changed. They've changed what their website says and the recommendations. So if you look, the things that have changed since we've gotten the vaccine, and this is straight from the CDC website. You can gather indoors with fully vaccinated people without wearing a mask. No mask. Indoors with other vaccinated people, straight from CDC website. Remember, this is coming straight from the CDC website. You can gather indoors with unvaccinated people from other households without masks. Unless any of those people have an increased risk from COVID. So basically, if you are vaccinated, you can do whatever you want. You can gather indoors without a mask with vaccinated people or unvaccinated people. And all the numbers, all the signs say that indoors is where COVID spreads. Unless you're on a plane, which has the most awesome atmosphere ventilation ever. There's almost no instances where people are catching this disease from flying on a plane. So that's. Lastly, if you've been around someone who has COVID, you do not need to stay away from others. So, because you're not going to spread it, because you're not going to catch it. So basically, if you have both doses of the vaccine, or one dose, if it's Johnson & Johnson, and you've continued to quarantine for your 2-week period, then you can do whatever you want. I mean, you can do whatever you want anyway, because the government can't tell you what to do. You know, they have no power. They work for you. So, I mean, but the crazy people that, gotta listen to what the government tells them, they can do whatever they want once they're vaccinated. And they go through their 2-week waiting period of their body getting stronger to fight off the disease. They can do whatever they want. So, I mean, what I don't understand is they also say what hasn't changed. So it also says you should still take steps to protect yourself in many situations, like wearing a mask and staying 6 feet apart from others. But you just said you said that if you have the vaccine, you can do whatever you want. And you're still telling people that they need to wear a mask, stay 6 feet apart, and take precautions when they're around other people. It still says you should afford medium or large gatherings. Why? Why? If you can gather with one person that has COVID in a closed area, and it's fine, and not wear a mask, not stay 6 feet apart, then what does it matter if you're in a large group? That doesn't make any sense. And this is all on the same website, side by side. I mean, it's bad enough that the CDC director came out and said this.
When I first started at CDC about 2 months ago, I made a promise to you. I would tell you the truth, even if it was not the news we wanted to hear. Now is one of those times when I have to share the truth, and I have to hope and trust you will listen. I'm going to pause here. I'm going to lose the script, and I'm going to reflect on the recurring feeling I have of impending doom. We have so much to look forward to, so much promise and potential of where we are, and so much reason for hope.
If you're losing the script, why are you still reading the script?
But right now I'm scared. I know what it's like as a physician to stand in that patient room, gowned, gloved, masked, shielded, and to be the last person to touch someone else's loved one because their loved one couldn't be there. I know what it's like when you're the physician, when you're the healthcare provider, and you're worried that you don't have the resources to take care of the patients in front of you. I know that feeling of nausea when you read the crisis standards of care and you wonder whether there are going to be enough ventilators to go around and who's going to make that choice. And I know what it's like to pull up to your hospital every day and see the extra morgue sitting outside. I didn't know at the time when it would stop. We didn't have the science to tell us. We were just scared. We have come such a long way. 3 historic scientific breakthrough vaccines, and we are rolling them out so very fast. So I'm speaking today not necessarily as your CDC director, and not only as your CDC director, but as a wife, as a mother, as a daughter, to ask you to just please hold on a little while longer. I so badly want to be done. I know you all so badly want to be done. We are just almost there, but not quite yet.
What do you mean? It says on your website, if you have the vaccine, you're fine. You can do whatever you want. This same woman just came out and said that our next health crisis is racism. Racism is the next health crisis, okay? They're losing their grip. We can't let you go yet. Alright? Like I said.
Because it's all part of the plan.
Something else that is part of the plan are the vaccine passports. So they come out with the vaccine passports. Vaccine passports are bad. For multiple reasons. The people that believe the passports are bad know that they're bad, and the people that believe the passports aren't bad think that the other people are crazy. And that to me is crazy, okay? The people that are pushing vaccine passports are the same people that are saying that it's racist for you to require an ID to vote in Georgia, okay? You already have to carry around a federal ID to do anything. You can't buy alcohol. You can't go on a plane. You can't... There's so many things that you can't do, okay? So, they're the hypocrites. It's all about control, okay? And the whole freak out about the Georgia passing the voting law is because the Congress has H.R. 1. They want to pass H.R. 1, in which anyone can vote. Anywhere. That's it. They just want everybody to be able to vote. Because they think if everybody in the world can vote for the president, then the they'll always have power.
Because it's all part of the plan.
And it's really sad. Because they continue to lie. I mean, Joe Biden himself came out and said that the Georgia voting law is like Jim Crow on steroids. It's like Jim Eagle. So he's saying that this voting law is worse than Jim Crow. Joe Biden is old enough to remember Jim Crow, okay? And I don't think saying that you need to have a little picture of you is Jim Crow. Do you not remember Jim Crow? We're not turning fire hoses on black people, telling them they have to vote in a different line or that they can't vote at all. We're talking about having a picture of yourself. And if you don't have a picture of yourself, you can say, hey, I have a picture of myself. I'll show it to you later. And that's it. These provisional ballots are something where you don't even need your ID. They're lying. They're all lying to you. It's all a big lie. And Joe Biden's convinced these stupid companies to like take their business away from minorities and give it to the white people communities in Colorado. And is convinced that this is a good thing. Colorado has similar laws as Georgia. They act like it's ridiculous. They say, well, you can't even give them food and water. It's ridiculous. No, you can't in Colorado either. Stop it. Stop lying to me. Stop saying these things to me. Okay? Tell him, Joe.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
And so we have the border situation, because you can't call it a crisis. Can't call it a crisis. You can't call it a surge because when you do call it a surge, this happens.
I want to say, what about the surge? Well, first of all, just gut check, stop. Anyone who's using the term surge around you consciously is trying to invoke a militaristic frame. And that's a problem because this is not a surge. These are children, and they are not insurgents, and we are not being invaded, which, by the way, is a white supremacist idea.
This person is the same person that said that these facilities that we're keeping kids in were concentration camps under Trump. And now that they're like 700% over capacity, now that Biden is in office, she's like, oh no, these are not concentration camps. They're holding facilities.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
Whoa. Don't misgender AOC, okay? We don't need to be bringing that onto us, okay? But I mean, the point doesn't change that the situation at the border is definitely a problem. So much so that Joe Biden came out and said
she's handling, but I've asked her, the VP today, because she's the most qualified person to do it, to lead our efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle and the countries that help. We're going to need help in stemming the movement of so many folks, stemming the migration to our southern border.
Now here's what Kamala had to say.
Do you plan to visit the border?
Not today.
Yeah, old Kamala taking care of all the problems, right? Isn't that right, Kamala? You gonna take care of the problems?
No.
All this ridiculousness. Remember, I mean, this even happened.
More parents are seeing the value of educators when they had to bring their kids.
Love that joking.
These people are just, they're they're just so, they're liars. They're all liars. They're all liars. AOC said that it's climate change that's causing these people to come up here. It's climate change that's causing the non-surge to the border. Climate change. I mean, do I not think there's climate? Yeah, I do. I am one of the people that think there is climate change. But what I don't believe is that these people in the government give a shit about climate change. I mean, they're the same people pushing all this mask crap. Did you see the reports of all the PPE garbage that they're finding in the water and all the pollution from the latex gloves and the masks that people are just throwing out? You wear it for 5 minutes, you throw it out. You wear it for 5 minutes, you throw it out. That this stuff has elastic and chemicals, and it's floating around in the ocean. I thought you cared about climate change. You don't give a shit. You're pushing policies that destroy the earth. I mean, it's these same people like Bill Burr walking around talking about how the oil and the environment, and here he is out flying his private helicopter talking about how he wants to get his F-250 Ford to drive around super diesel. Really? Come on, people. You're lying. Yeah, why don't you be honest? If you believe in climate change, Elon Musk, who is so gut-wrenched into this whole climate change thing that he's trying to build rockets to get off of this fucking polluted planet to get to Mars. Okay? That's how ingrained he is into getting off the planet. That's how bad he thinks it is. And yet, he moved to Texas, and he's trying to build some sort of Tesla city on the Gulf Coast, like right on the coast. You know the area that's going to completely be covered in water because of the climate change and the global warming and all the ice melting? What?
Everything that guy just says, bullshit.
And you know Kamala's doing a great job taking care of the border situation. You know, because they're already talking about giving cash payments to these immigrants. And Biden is considering restarting building Trump's wall that the Democrats hated so much because it was Trump's wall. And it's gotten so bad that the White House border coordinator, Roberta S. Jacobson, resigned yesterday. So it's all going swimmingly. I don't have a problem with these people coming here. Okay? I'm a libertarian, and libertarians believe in an open border. Sort of. I mean, if you have an open border, I mean, yeah, the conservatives say that if you don't have a border, you don't have a nation, and I get that. But if you have good policies in your country with an open border, you don't run into this situation. The problem is we have bad policies. This is the whole thing. That's why they're rushing here. They're rushing here because Biden said he wasn't going to kick anybody out. If people are fighting out of a country that is devastated by shitty governments, terrible policies, and they're trudging hundreds and thousands of miles through the desert to come to this country, which is the greatest country in the whole damn world, those are the type of people that we want here working, innovating, making this country a better place. But you can't lock all these kids in these buildings where they're being raped, where they're being crammed in with other people. There's a freaking pandemic going on. Sick of being lied to. They're all lies. Everything is, it's like every day they just come out and push more and more lies. And this affects everybody. It really affects me. Because, I mean, if the economy crashes, if prices go up, all these bad things that happen, it's going to affect the money I make, the content I can produce, it's the whole, it's everything. Biden came out and decided we're going after guns now. Now's the time for guns.
Nothing I'm about to recommend in any way impinges on the Second Amendment.
Yes, it will.
They're phony arguments suggesting that these are Second Amendment rights at stake from what we're talking about.
No, they aren't.
But no amendment to the Constitution is absolute.
Wrong.
You can't yell fire in a crowded movie theater. We call it freedom of speech.
Yeah, you can. Stop lying.
From the very beginning, you couldn't own any weapon you wanted to own. From the very beginning the Second Amendment existed, certain people weren't allowed to have weapons.
Yes, you could. People owned weapons that the government didn't own. Okay? Remember privateers? The government hired private people to have these weapons and to borrow these weapons during times of war. You're lying. You're still lying.
So the idea is just bizarre to suggest that some of the things we're recommending are contrary to the Constitution. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic.
No, it's not. It's not an epidemic. It's not an epidemic.
Let me say it again. Gun violence in this country is an epidemic, and it's an international embarrassment.
You're an international embarrassment.
And today I'm announcing several initial steps my administration is taking to curb this epidemic of gun violence. Much more need be done, but the first, want to rein in the proliferation of so-called ghost guns. These are guns that are homemade, built from a kit, that include directions on how to finish the firearm. You can go buy the kit. They have no serial numbers, so when they show up at a crime scene, they can't be traced. And the buyers aren't required to pass a background check to buy the kit, to make the gun. Consequently, anyone from a criminal to a terrorist can buy this kit in as little as 30 minutes, put together a weapon. You know, I want to see these kits treated as firearms under the Gun Control Act, which is going to require that the seller and manufacturers make the key parts with serial numbers and run background checks on the buyers when they walk in to buy that package.
Oh my gosh.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
Any kit that you can put together in 30 minutes has at least one part of that kit that's serialized and you need a background check to get it. Lie number one. Lie number two. These 80% style milled, you put together your own firearm. Anybody can't just buy it, okay? I could buy it. Yes, I could go buy it. Even though you rated like the government rated the biggest company that produces these things months ago. So they're almost impossible to get now. But when you could get it, first of all, they cost more than a completed firearm, okay? Secondly, you cannot just start drilling holes in this thing. If you do not build these things perfectly, they will explode in your face and kill you. Okay? So you can't just go out and buy a kit and put it together. Okay? You need to go out and buy thousands of dollars worth of tools to have just to do it. And they don't come with instructions, okay? They come with a jig.
We want to treat pistols modified with stabilizing braces with the seriousness they deserve. A stabilizing brace hook and a pencil essentially makes that pistol a hell of a lot more accurate than a mini rifle. As a result, it's more lethal.
The whole point of all these laws is that the main goal is to unarm the populace. That's the point, okay? And like Joe Biden said before, there is a process, there's an order, there's a right time to make certain legislative moves, okay? And that's why he's going into the ghost guns. That's why he's going into the red flag laws. That's why he's going into the pistol modifications. It's all because they're moving toward the whole assault weapon ban that they had in the 80s. And they've got to go after this stuff first because they know once they push the assault weapon ban, then these will be the next for people to go to. If you can't get an assault weapon, then you want to get a kit that you can try to build an assault weapon. Or you want a kit that turns a pistol into an assault weapon. They keep using the term assault weapon because it's a made-up term. It doesn't define anything, which means they can put whatever they want underneath of it so they can go after whatever they want to go after. That's the reason for all these executive order gun laws that come out now.
Because it's all part of the plan.
But the only way they can do this, even Charles Barkley knows what's going on.
Man, I think most white people and black people are great people. I really believe that in my heart. But I think our system is set up where our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, are designed to make us not like each other so they can keep their grasp of money and power. They divide and conquer. I truly believe in my heart most white people and black people are awesome people, but we're so stupid following our politicians, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And their only job is, hey, let's make these people not like each other. We don't live in their neighborhoods. We all got money. Let's make the whites and blacks not like each other. Let's make rich people and poor people not like each other. Let's scramble the middle class. I truly believe that in my heart.
Good on you, Charles. And he's exactly right. The whole point is to divide everybody because house divided falls. That's why they're pushing all the race baiting. That's why they come out and say Asian hate is bad. And when they have all these videos of the black people attacking Asian people, they say it's all because of white supremacy. So even then, it's white people's fault. It's all to get everybody fighting each other. And it's not just races. It's the whole gender sex thing. I mean, Mattel came out and said that they're gonna make a gender neutral Barbie or Ken doll, which is retarded because both Barbie and Ken are gender neutral. They do not have sexual organs. They get, and to sit here and say, well, Barbie is a woman. That right there, that's sexist, okay? You can't look, well, it looks like a woman. How fucked up is that, okay? You people pushing this sexist crap you're hypocrites. It's nonsense.
Everything that guy just says, bullshit.
The other thing that's happening is you know, the big tech and big media going after conservative viewpoints and conservative people. It's getting worse and worse every day. 60 Minutes went on this freaking thing to destroy Ron DeSantis' reputation because, you know, he's like Donald Trump but better, and so they got to go after him because if they don't take him, they don't nip his situation in the bud, then he might be the next conservative candidate for president. So they lie. They went out there and talked about how, you know, there's all this money and how he got paid all this stuff from the Publix to give out the vaccine, even though, you know, CVS and Walgreens and all these other people are giving out the vaccine. They just wanted Publix to be giving it out because there's more of them to do that. And they were like, well, they gave him $100,000 throughout his campaign. Well, I mean, they don't give a crap about what's going on over in California with Newsom and how he got $23 million, which last time I checked is like, I don't know, 230 times more. 202. Math is hard.
Everything that guy just says, bullshit.
Lastly, I've mentioned this several times, but I want to do it one more time. ESG scores are coming. And I say that because they're technically already here. Okay? And I've had a lot of people ask me, what's ESG? What is the ESG? What is that? Come on, you got Google? You people are millennials and Gen Z, figure it out.
When we are considering investing in a company, we carry out a two-pronged analysis. We look at the financial criteria, profitability, business models, sector and competitiveness, alongside the ESG criteria. E. Environmental. We analyse the environmental footprint of companies. For example, initiatives in areas such as energy saving and the reduction of pollutant emissions. S. Social. We examine working conditions, relationships with clients and suppliers, and human resources management. G. Governance. We investigate the governance structure to assess if it's transparent and independent, how the corporate officers are appointed and remunerated, and if there is respect for shareholders.
Do you get all that? Environmental, social, governance. And you say, oh, well, that's just a company thing. They're just doing that with companies. Yeah, they're doing that with companies now. Here, now, companies have ESG scores. You can go look this up. You can go find out what the ESG score Pepsi is, Coke is, Facebook. You can go look. You can look all it up because they have these ESG scores right now. But it doesn't just stay with companies, okay? It's not just companies. China has it right now and has for a while for every individual. Every individual, all 1.7 billion or however fucking many there are right now, have an ESG score, okay? And in January...
From January, every citizen of England and Wales will have a new social credit score. Government and private companies may use your social credit score to make decisions about you. For example, your score could affect the deposit you're asked to pay when renting a home. It could also give you discounts when you're shopping, put you in the priority queue for a new passport, or help you access some healthcare services more quickly. Your social credit score is based on information that the government already knows: the electoral roll, tax payments, criminal records, property ownership, and travel history. If you want to increase your score, you can choose to share more personal information securely with our certified partner companies. Information like your credit card purchases, communications and health information from your phone, energy use data from your smart meter, and your viewing and listening history from streaming companies. That information helps our carefully selected machine learning systems trust you, your friends, and your family. Plus, you can get fun tips on how to increase your score on the Social Credit app. Your social credit score is also affected by the scores of the people you live, work, and spend time with. Everyone's score is public by default. You can check it on the Social Credit app so you can make informed decisions about your life. You can hide your score, but in some cases, this may cause it to drop. Some things like disruptive actions, hiding your data trail, or making decisions that harm others could lower your score over time. If this happens, you may find it harder to access certain government and private services. So if you have an old housemate, friend, or relative that you don't spend time with anymore, you may want to file a formal notice of disassociation on the Social Credit app.
Does this not sound like Big Brother? Does this not sound like one world government? Does this not sound like global taxes and infrastructure? Does this not sound like building back better?
Building back better.
Build it back better.
Build 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 back better.
All right, good luck. That's the podcast. Enjoy the rest of your life.